You'll always be second best, my twin brother said after stealing my job, my friends, and my girlfriend. So I waited until his wedding, took the mic, and told the one secret that made the bride leave in tears and the priest cancel mid-ceremony. You'll always be second best. That's what my twin brother Aaron, 28 million, said to me. No hesitation, no smirk, just cold certainty. Like he was reading my fate from some cosmic scoreboard I never even got to see. He said it while standing in the doorway of my apartment. The same apartment I let him crash in for 2 months after his third layoff, his second breakup, and his first DUI. And in the middle of telling me, again, how he'd accidentally ended up dating my girlfriend, Haley. Accidentally, right? We were born 6 minutes apart, and I swear from the moment I took my first breath, Aaron's been trying to take the next one from me. I got the chicken pox first. He made it a competition. I made the soccer team. He made varsity. I landed my first internship. He slept with my boss's daughter and got a full-time offer. And I let it go, over and over again, because he was my brother. Because that's just Aaron. Because every time I pushed back, my mom would go, "Be the bigger man, Jacob." And Dad thought the sun shone out of Aaron's ass because he threw a football half an inch further than I did. But nothing hit me like Haley. We were together for 3 years. I met her in undergrad when she rear-ended my Civic at a stoplight. She was flustered, apologetic, and funny as hell when she saw how dented my bumper already was. We swapped numbers, and I asked her out 2 days later. She said yes, smirking, but I'm not paying for your repairs. I was gone from that moment. She was with me through my master's program. She helped me build my portfolio. She used to sit on the floor next to me while I pulled all-nighters, just so I'd drink water and not pass out. We planned a future together. House, dog, maybe a kid or two. She even left a toothbrush at my place. And then Aaron accidentally started crashing there on weekends. Then weekdays. Then full-time. Next came Haley laughing at his jokes like they were new, even though I'd heard every one of them since we were 10. Then the study sessions he needed help with. She had a psychology degree. He claimed to be working on himself. Then the canceled date nights. Then the gut feeling. I asked her once, gently, if something was going on. She looked me in the eyes and said, "No, baby. He's your brother." 3 weeks later, she ghosted me for 2 days. When I finally got her on the phone, she was already crying. Said it just happened. Said they didn't mean for it to. Said I'd understand. I didn't. And Aaron had the nerve to act like I was the problem. "You're just not as confident, Jake. You fade into the background." I'd never hated anyone the way I hated him in that moment. But I didn't punch him. I didn't scream. I planned. Because he also took my job. Literally, my promotion. Sabotaged me behind closed doors. Sent in a competing proposal under his name. Guess who got credit? So yeah, he stole my girlfriend, my job, my friends too, slowly, one by one. And then, months later, he invited me to his wedding, to Haley. He wanted me to be his best man, and that's when I knew how this would end. Not with fists, but with a microphone, with one secret I'd kept for years, buried like a live wire, just waiting. Because some gifts are better unwrapped in front of 200 people and a priest. I should have known this wedding invite was bait. Aaron never included me in anything unless it made him look good, and asking me to be his best man? That was just his final power move. Like, "Hey bro, I took everything from you. Mind handing me the rings too?" But I said yes. I said yes while clenching my jaw so hard I cracked a molar. Said yes while Haley avoided my eyes and mumbled something about how we're all adults now. I smiled through it. Even offered to give a toast. Because revenge tastes better when it's served under catered hors d'oeuvres and white linen napkins. You need to understand something about Aaron. He's a parasite with charm. That toxic brand of charisma where everyone feels like they know him but no one actually does. He's the guy who buys a round at the bar, then Venmos everyone after. Who flirts with your girlfriend while complimenting your haircut. The guy who always borrows money, sleeps with your coworker, and blames it on your jealousy issues. He was always good at making me look bitter. I was the serious one, the moody twin, the planner, the one who did the homework while he flirted with the teacher. So when shit went sideways, people assumed I had snapped. I saw that same look in Haley's eyes when she tried to explain herself, like I was the one who drove her away with my silence. Not that she cheated, no, just that I wasn't emotionally available. The best man role was just salt in the wound, but it got me access, guest list, venue details, time slots, and most importantly, her, Maya, the bride's sister, the only person who ever saw through Aaron's act. Haley had introduced us at a game night once, back when we were still together. Maya was sharp-tongued, artsy, and absolutely allergic to bullshit. She pulled me aside in the kitchen that night and said, "Your brother gives me the ick." I laughed harder than I had in weeks. She and I had kept in touch after the breakup. Nothing romantic, but enough. Enough for her to text me, "This wedding is a car crash in slow motion." Enough for me to ask, casually, "Does Haley know about the lake house?" There was a pause. Then she sent back, "You wouldn't." "Oh, but I would." Because the lake house was the secret, the rotting core under all Aaron's polished charm, and Haley had no idea. Not about what happened there, not about who he hurt, not about what he covered up, and certainly not about who knew. I didn't tell Maya my full plan yet, just that I was going to give the toast and I wanted her front row. She didn't ask why, just said, "About damn time." Meanwhile, Aaron was spiraling. For someone so smug, he was freaking out about the seating chart like his life depended on it. Yelled at the caterer, accused the florist of sabotaging his vibe, tried to fire the DJ because he wouldn't play Kanye. By the rehearsal dinner, he was drinking like a man trying to drown a demon. And still, he pulled me aside, arm around my shoulder like we were brothers in arms, and said, "You ever wonder if maybe you just weren't meant for the spotlight?" I stared at him, that smug little smirk. "No," I said, smiling. "I think I was just waiting for the right stage." And, oh, buddy, that altar was perfect. The morning of the wedding was oddly quiet, almost too quiet, like the air before a storm, thick with tension, buzzing with all the things no one was saying out loud. Aaron was already 2 mimosas deep by 10 a.m., strutting around the groomsman's suite like a politician at a campaign rally, doing the rounds, laughing too loud, clapping people on the back like he hadn't shattered my life one betrayal at a time. He kept calling me baby bro in front of his friends like that was some kind of cute inside joke and not the label he used to justify stepping over me every chance he got. I smiled. I smiled so hard I thought my face might split in half. Every time I looked at Haley, I felt a flicker. Not love, not even heartbreak anymore. Just disappointment. That hollow pit in your gut when you realize the person you once dreamed a life with would have traded your future for a few sweet words and a prettier liar. She looked beautiful, of course. She always did. Her hair was curled just the way I used to do it for her when she had interviews. The dress was simple, elegant. Nothing like the chaotic Pinterest board she used to show me back when she imagined me at the altar instead. There was a nervousness behind her eyes, but she buried it beneath fake laughter and gentle hands. She kissed Aaron like she believed in it, but she didn't look at me once. And I think that was the first tell. The second came during the vows rehearsal. The priest, a soft-spoken man with kind eyes, paused when Aaron couldn't remember the line about honesty, laughed it off, said, "Guess that's not my strong suit." Everyone chuckled, except Maya. She stared at him like she knew. Later that night, I found her outside the venue. She was smoking a cigarette, even though she told me she quit 6 months ago. Her dress was half unzipped, heels dangling from her hand, hair starting to frizz in the summer heat. "You really gonna do it?" she asked. I didn't pretend not to know what she meant. "Tomorrow," I said. She nodded slowly, then, almost a whisper, "She deserves to know." I looked at her for a long time. "You think she'd leave?" Maya exhaled. "She might not, but at least she'll stop pretending it's love." I didn't sleep that night. My suit hung in the corner of the hotel room like a specter, the speech burning a hole in my pocket. I'd written it 3 times, once with venom, once with sorrow. The final version, calm, measured, honest, because this wasn't about rage anymore. This was about truth, the kind of truth that leaves bruises, the kind you can't walk back down the aisle from. The next morning, I stood next to my brother as he adjusted his cufflinks and said, "Try not to cry during your speech, yeah? Wouldn't want people to think you still care." I met his eyes in the mirror. "Oh, I don't," I said. "I'm just the messenger." The ceremony was set in this obnoxiously expensive garden venue, overlooking a man-made lake. White roses everywhere, crystal chandeliers hanging from trees, bridesmaids airbrushed within an inch of their lives, groomsmen pretending they didn't hate Aaron. I stood at the altar, second to the right, my palms sweating so bad I thought I might drop the damn microphone when the time came. Aaron looked like a walking magazine ad. Perfectly tailored suit, smug confidence, smile that could sell you a car and rob you blind in the same breath. Every so often, he glanced at Haley like she was his trophy. Not a partner, a possession he'd finally pried from my hands. Haley walked down the aisle to some acoustic version of a Coldplay song, and everyone sighed like they were watching the finale of a rom-com. I didn't. I watched Maya. She stood on the bride's side, jaw clenched, arms rigid, like she wanted to run. The priest did his thing, read the scripture, talked about love, commitment, blah, blah, blah. I barely heard any of it. Then came the moment. Now, the best man will share a few words. My heartbeat was so loud I couldn't even hear the polite applause. I stepped forward, took the mic. Aaron gave me that wink, the same one he used to throw at girls before he'd pretend he didn't know their names in front of his friends. I stared at him, then at Haley, then at everyone, and I smiled. "Hi everyone," I said. "Thanks for coming. This is going to be a little different." A few polite chuckles. Maya's face was stone. Aaron asked me to talk about brotherhood, about growing up side by side, being each other's shadows. He said I should tell a funny story, but there's something else I've been holding on to. Something important. I paused. A few guests shifted in their seats. This story starts 6 years ago. At our family's lake house. Summer break, Aaron invited a friend. A girl named Lexi. At that name, Aaron's smile cracked. Barely. She was quiet, sweet, went to school with us. Aaron liked her. She didn't really like him back, and that didn't sit well. A murmur. I remember the night she locked herself in the bathroom crying. I remember Aaron saying she was just confused. I remember what she told me in the morning. Haley's smile was gone now, frozen. She said she wasn't going to say anything. She didn't want to ruin his life. She just wanted to go home. She made me promise not to tell anyone. Now, silence. But a year later, I found out she dropped out of school, stopped seeing her friends, never came back. Aaron took a step toward me. "Jake," he hissed. I ignored him, looked directly at the priest. "I'm sorry to bring this into your ceremony, sir, but I can't watch someone vow their life to a man who's never owned the harm he's caused." And then I turned to Haley. "I loved you. I probably always will. But if you marry him, you need to know what he's capable of, what he's done when no one's watching." She didn't speak. Her face had gone completely white. The priest lowered his book. "I think we need a moment," he said. But the moment was already happening. The guests were murmuring. Maya had her hand over her mouth. Aaron lunged for me. And that's when it all shattered. Update 1. So, yeah, that blew up a little. First off, I didn't expect that reaction. I thought maybe some gasps, maybe Haley would cry and Aaron would storm off. What I didn't expect was the priest straight up canceling the ceremony on the spot, like mid-procession. Dude closed the book, stepped back, and said, "Until this is resolved, I can't proceed in good conscience." I swear someone dropped their champagne flute in shock. Reddit. Y'all lit up my inbox. Shout out to the person who messaged me, "You took the mic and dropped a nuke." Accurate. Another person asked if I was scared. I was. I was shaking so bad my hands looked like tuning forks. But I've lived in Aaron's shadow long enough. I wanted my life back. To those who asked, yes, Lexi is real. And no, she never reported him. I've reached out to her since. I won't share what she said, but she knows what happened that night wasn't her fault. And she's not alone anymore. As for Aaron, he tried to swing at me. In front of 200 people, had to be pulled back by 2 of his own groomsmen. Then he started screaming that I ruined his life, while Haley just walked off. Not crying, not yelling, just gone. Next thing I knew, Maya was grabbing my hand, pulling me out the back door before things exploded further. But trust me, the real fallout? That came after. Maya and I ended up at a dive bar 10 minutes from the venue, still in our formal clothes, still reeling. She ordered tequila. I asked for water. My throat was raw, my brain spinning. The weight of what I'd done hadn't fully sunk in yet. I just kept replaying Aaron's face, that flicker of panic turning to rage when I said Lexi's name. "He's not going to recover from this," Maya said, nursing her glass. "I didn't do it for that." She looked at me, really looked at me. "I know. That's why it worked." My phone was melting down. Missed calls, texts, voicemails, mostly from numbers I didn't recognize. Haley hadn't messaged me. Not yet. But my mom had. One text. "What did you do to your brother?" No question mark. Just blame, locked and loaded. That's when I knew. The family backlash was coming. Sure enough, the next day, I woke up to 24 Facebook notifications, a few Instagram tags, and one voice message from Aunt Claire that was basically just 45 seconds of stunned silence followed by, "Jesus Christ, Jacob." Aaron posted a status that said, "Betrayal cuts deeper when it comes from blood." Classic. But Haley? She deleted her Instagram. Not a post. The entire thing. I didn't hear from her for 3 days. Then, a message popped up. "Can we talk?" I sat staring at it like it might explode. We met at a coffee shop we used to go to. I was already there when she arrived. Hair tied back, no makeup, hoodie instead of heels. She looked small. Not fragile, just deflated. "I should have listened," she said, sitting across from me. I didn't speak. I let her fill the silence. I knew something was off. I saw the cracks, but I thought, if I just loved him enough, he'd become the man I wanted him to be. My chest tightened. "I didn't know about Lexi," she whispered. "God, Jake, I didn't know." I nodded. "I believe you." We sat there a long time. No closure speech. No rekindling. Just 2 people sitting in the ruins of the same fire, realizing we didn't start it, but we both got burned. Then came the knock on my apartment door. It was Aaron. Disheveled. Sweaty. Smelling like whiskey and desperation. "You ruined my life," he spat. I didn't move. Didn't invite him in. I had it all, and you took it. "You think you're some kind of hero? You think this fixes anything?" "No," I said, "but it stops you from breaking anyone else." And then he snapped. He lunged, pushed me, knocked over a lamp, started screaming, red in the face, fists clenched like he didn't care who saw. I didn't fight back. I just stepped aside and let him swing at the air. Eventually, my neighbor came out and told him to leave or the cops were coming. He screamed something about lawyers and slander. But the truth? The truth was already out, and the truth doesn't need a lawyer. He stumbled away, shouting about lawsuits and what family means. I closed the door, and I didn't look back. I thought after the outburst he'd disappear, lick his wounds, go ruin someone else's life. I underestimated just how much Aaron needs control. It started small. My tires slashed. All four. No note. No witnesses. Then my boss pulled me aside and asked if I'd been drinking on the job. Someone had called HR anonymously, claimed I'd been coming in drunk and threatening coworkers. I hadn't touched alcohol in months. Then the fake Yelp reviews. One after another, tanking the ratings for a side business I'd been building for years. It was obvious from the language, phrases only Aaron would use. Entitled little man, creepy vibe, wouldn't trust him around my girlfriend. One even said I made unwanted advances on a client. That one made my hands shake. He wasn't just trying to hurt me, he was trying to erase me. I called Maya, told her everything. She went quiet for a while, then said, "I think you need to see something." She sent me a photo. Aaron, at a bar, laughing with a blonde. Haley's cousin. She was at the wedding. Another photo, a group chat screenshot, labeled Operation Gaslight. It was Aaron and two of his frat buddies, plotting, literally plotting, smear campaigns, burner accounts, rumors. He was unhinged, unraveling thread by thread. That's when I knew. He wasn't going to stop until he was forced to stop, so I did something I never wanted to do. I called Lexi. She didn't answer at first. I left a message, just told her what had happened, told her what Aaron was doing to me now, told her she didn't have to do anything. I just wanted her to know she wasn't alone, that someone believed her. She called back that night. Her voice was steady, too steady, like someone who's had to rehearse her story just to survive it. "I never told anyone because I didn't think it would change anything," she said, "but maybe it can now." I asked if she wanted to stay anonymous. She paused, then said, "No, I want people to know." I felt something shift in me. A fire I'd been choking down for years finally caught wind. Because this wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about justice. Update 2. Okay, buckle up, because what happened next still doesn't feel real. After I spoke to Lexi, things moved fast. She gave a statement, detailed, chilling. She named dates, places, the exact layout of the lake house down to the broken door lock Aaron swore he fixed. And when she was done, she asked me, if I'd stand with her if she went public. I said yes without thinking. Of course I would. Maya connected us with a journalist she knew from her art circle. Someone who actually gave a damn about telling survivor stories right. Within a week, the piece was out. Front page of the local section. Prominent real estate agent accused by former classmate. Lexi used her full name. She owned every word. And I backed it up. Timeline, patterns, screenshots. The whole twisted playbook Aaron had used for years. Fallout? Immediate. Aaron's company cut ties. His apartment complex served him notice. Sponsors dropped him like a live grenade. And Haley? She issued a statement too. I believe her. No apology to me. No walkback. Just 3 words that told me maybe she finally saw him for what he was. Reddit DMs blew up again. This time, half the messages were from people saying they had stories too. One girl said he'd made her feel like she owed him something after a party. Another said he'd threatened her scholarship if she didn't keep quiet about a night she barely remembered. It wasn't just one secret. It was a pattern. Aaron tried to countersue, claimed character defamation. The court didn't even entertain it. He was laughed out of the room. I saw him once more, outside the courthouse. Disheveled, thin, eyes sunken. "You're dead to me," he spat. And for the first time in my life, I smiled. "Good," I said. "Now maybe I can start living." I used to think closure would feel like a parade, like standing over the ruins of everything he built. Arms raised, feeling powerful, vindicated. But it's not like that, and it's quiet. It's weirdly sad. It's me standing in the middle of my apartment staring at a lamp he knocked over that I never bothered to fix, and realizing I don't feel triumphant. I just feel free. Aaron disappeared after the court stuff, deleted his socials, moved cities, maybe states. I don't care enough to find out. Every once in a while, someone will mention him in passing like he died. Remember when Aaron used to run those networking events? Didn't he date Haley? Like he's a ghost people only half remember. I saw Haley once after everything. Just a flash of her at a bookstore. She was holding a copy of Tiny Beautiful Things, and when she saw me, she froze. We made eye contact. I nodded once, she nodded back. That was it. Maya, though, she stayed. Somewhere in the chaos of everything, we'd built this strange, tender connection. She started dropping by with food during the worst of it. Sometimes we talked. Sometimes we just sat in silence, drinking shitty boxed wine and staring at my ceiling like it held answers. She never treated me like a hero. She just listened. One night, weeks after the article went up and the legal stuff calmed down, she showed up with a bag of groceries and said, "You ever think about what's next?" "Next like dinner?" I joked. "Next like a life where your name doesn't mean his name." That one hit me, because for the first time I wasn't reacting to Aaron. I wasn't chasing justice or dodging bullets. I was building something. Started small. cleaned up my apartment, got my business back on track, reached out to friends I lost while Aaron was pulling his puppet strings. Some apologized, some didn't. That was fine. Not everyone has the spine to admit they picked the wrong twin. I started volunteering with a local survivor advocacy group Lexi connected me to. Nothing dramatic, just helping set up events, reviewing intake forms, using my logistics brain to do some good. Every now and then, Lexi emails. She's back in school, studying social work. She signs her messages. Not broken. And that's better than any mic drop. A year after the wedding that never was, I got an invitation in the mail. Not a wedding, not a lawsuit, an art show. Maya's. She didn't tell me she was submitting anything, just sent the invite like it was no big deal. The gallery was small, tucked into the arts district downtown, all exposed brick and moody lighting. I showed up in jeans and a clean shirt, still half expecting her to cancel last minute out of nerves. But she didn't. She stood by her piece, calm, centered, beautiful in this raw, unfiltered way I hadn't seen in anyone since, maybe ever. The piece was a sculpture, twisted metal, cracked mirrors, one broken microphone at the base. The placard read, "What was said?" People stood around trying to guess what it meant. Some thought it was about abuse, others thought it was political. Someone said, "It's like grief, but backwards." Maya just winked at me and said, "I was inspired by a very dramatic wedding." We went to dinner afterward. No pressure, no big talk, just laughter and steak and the quiet kind of conversation that feels like rest. She didn't ask how I was healing. She just let me exist. That was the beginning of real something. Not survival, not rebound. Something soft, something steady. Now, I don't flinch when the phone rings. I don't wake up waiting for the next fire to put out. I still have scars. Some visible, some not. But they're mine, not Aaron's, not Haley's, mine. And I wear them like armor. Because I told the truth. Because I chose peace. Because the mic? It wasn't a weapon. It was a key. And I used it to finally walk out of his shadow and into my own damn light.